songs that just come oh they just come up. And so
So what song came up for you?
I love to do mirror work.
Okay.
um and so in neuro linguistic programming or whatever, the and the meditation piece is that once you have a feeling and you connect that intense feeling with a thought,
Mm-hmm.
then you change the molecular structure of the limbic system. The mind changes, like the body begins to create these neurons that are different from the ones that you had before. So I was a worship leader. I sang songs of worship, and then there was oh, that's my baby. And then I sang songs of not today, babe. Let me just tell him I'm in a session. Um, so 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 I sing songs, and I used to feel songs so intensely.
Mm-hmm.
I used to say to God, I don't understand, especially when things went crazy. I don't understand why this is happening, because don't nobody love you like I do. Now this doesn't make any sense. Don't nobody love you like I do. That used to be my mantra over and over again. Like, come on, this is
Oh,
I'm expecting, because don't nobody love you like I do, God.
okay.
So when I sang worship songs, that's the place from which I came from.
Mm-hmm.
But I came from a place also that God was out here and I was here, awaiting for his approval and his acceptance and his check off and his um opening the door for me. I came from a place of a passive place,
Okay.
and singing, but it was still worshipful and honoring, but it also created a littleness in me.
Okay.
It's almost like I had to be little, bring forth my best voice for a God that was so huge that you could hear me. And then what? Then for me, then there was this fall off, right?
Oh,
I just need to just continue to do the work, just do the
uh-huh.
work. But when I shift my paradigm from being being all in God, or use your language from last week, being a microcosm, right?
Uh-huh.
In
Uh-huh.
this big thing, being connected, like there's a nucleus, and then I'm the surrounding parts of the cell. Coming from that place, it's not so much worship as it is being me, just showing up as myself,
Your isness in
my
the
isness.
allness.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
Isness in the allness.
So
Yes.
the songs that came up after my meditation today was because of who you are. But it was me. I love mirror work. So of course I'm always standing in the mirror or have a mirror by. And so I'm in the mirror, and that song, Because of Who You Are, was just flowing through me so intently. Um,
I don't know that I know that song
I
because of
don't even know who it's by. Um, I think it's by, what is that lady's name? It's a song, the when women worship. um Martha Menenzi.
uh-huh.
Martha Menenzi.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the lyrics are like, because of who you are, I give you glory. Because of who you are, I give you praise. Because of who you are, I will lift my voice and say, I worship you because of who you are.
Because of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you said Mendez?
Martha Menenzi. Menenzi.
Martha.
Good
Okay.
morning.
Hey, Rosemary. It says her audio is still connecting.
Oh,
Hey, Rosemary. How are
Good
you?
morning. You
good
guys are
morning.
at it, aren't you? Good morning.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes, Stephanie gets up before I do. So yes,
Oh
I
my
get up at
Lord.
4:30.
I
I
had to
get up
set
at
my, you get up early?
3 o'clock.
Three? Oh my God. What time do you go to bed?
I try to be in the bed by 10, like under the covers by 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Okay. You guys are on a different schedule than I am.
You're on a retired schedule, huh?
Right.
Well, not really. Not really. I work more than I want to. I'm telling you, it's a very active market.
Okay, yay.
So
Nice.
I'm still in bed, as you can see.
Uh-huh. And so for those of you who are watching us, we are joined today by Rosemary Capel, who is one of our wonderful members at Agape Renaissance. As a matter of fact, the first lady of Agape. It was her husband who originally started our church there. And so we are welcoming her today and excited to have her with us. And you guys, we didn't even say hello, good morning yet.
Good morning.
So excited
Good
about
morning. Good
the
morning.
Morning.
meditation today. And so let me just pray us in, and then we can get back into this amazing conversation. And because of who you are, we are just recognizing God's allness. Everywhere, equally present, right where you are in this moment. So as we breathe into this moment and just relax in this space, we know that we are here by divine order, on purpose. There are no mistakes right here, right now. There are no mistakes. And just as you are loved. You are exactly where you need to be in this very moment. We give thank yous to God for this awareness, this knowing that these thoughts of inadequacy and judgment and as if we were not doing what it is, all of that just now dissipates. It just keeps up off of us. And we just come and rest in this moment, knowing that it is good, knowing that the words that we speak here are filled with this light, love, and wisdom to the highest, that we receive exactly what we need on this day to make this the very best day as we move forward. We give thanks for this space, for this time, for one another, and we just let it be. And so it is.
It is, and I expect it to be.
Yes. Okay, so. Yeah. All right, so let's so you got this song, you got all of these songs, you're feeling your position different in spirit. Yeah, that's so juicy.
Yeah, because of the part of the anatomy that we are studying of the spirit is for me, where I am in going through this, as I back up some, is that first one, the first chakra, the external powers, and the oneness. Oneness. And I remember when I had my first meditation, I'll be too graphic on here, and I had an experience like an orgasm during the meditation. And so I went to my holistic therapist and said, what was that? And she said, oh, you had come into the oneness of yourself. Like you were in the space of yourself and the all that is. So and that's what you describe as the Kundalini. She says that some people use that as the Kundalini, but it's an experience that's like, and you're like, how did I get here? And so today wasn't quite that. It wasn't quite that
again. Yeah.
It wasn't quite that intense, but just reaffirming the oneness that having that first chakra lit up is so essential, because it keeps us grounded. And it also today, I'll just say for me, it pulled forth like a boldness, an energy of courage, just standing in that space of recognition of the oneness. So on page 80, something here, it says, as a human person in my adult the sacrament is baptism for the first chakra. And so the book talks about how when we baptize kids, we baptize them with the saying that we're going to accept physical responsibility for their new life. And then secondly, we're going to take responsibility for their spiritual life. And then for me as the adult, the baptism becomes that I accept my family of origin as a divine chosen, that it was chosen divinely. So if I just sit in that.
Right, right. And you know what? I think that is one of the, when we talk about okay, so wait a minute.
And I don't want to jump ahead. Because I'm like,
let's back up for a second. So Rosemary,
Yes.
I'm so glad that you're up with us this morning.
Well, I need to get the book, I realize.
Oh, well, you know what? I can actually just bring you a copy of the book, because I actually have an extra copy. I was waiting for Erica to say that she needed the book. She was talking about she was ordering the book, and Gretchen got both she listened to the audio of the book, and then she actually ordered the book, because this is one of those books that you need to highlight in.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
It's one thing to just kind of listen to it and to listen to us, but it's a totally different thing when you kind of like are able to go back and delve into some of the principles that are at work here.
Okay. I think I have it. I don't think George has it. I don't think.
Okay.
I'll look in the library, but I don't think so.
Okay. Well, if not, I can always run it out to you. That's
okay.
Yeah,
I will check today.
Yeah, that's not a issue. So, and so when we start talking about, Gretchen says that's true. She's already tagging pages and highlighting. Yeah. So good morning, Gretchen. And
good morning.
Yeah, and so it becomes part of, like all of us studying stuff, because when somebody tells you that chakras 1, 2, and 3 are about the physical or external world, right? And sometimes what we see, because like I was sharing yesterday, this ability that we have to be able to look at people, and like when I say I look away and I can detect certain things, or you can talk to people and you can hear a stuckness. Like some people get stuck in their first or second chakra issues and can't graduate into the higher level issues, right? So if you're still stuck in your family of origin, or what they say, or the people around you think about you, you can get stuck in the lower level chakras and never make it into the heart chakra.
Okay.
And so you can sometimes, if you're thinking in energy terms, you can listen to a person's conversation and think, oh, they're stuck in that level of development.
Yes.
And when they're stuck in that level of development, what needs to happen in order for them to unstick themselves so that they can move up? And normally this is something that naturally happens for us, because you go from childhood into adolescence. And if you get stuck in adolescent stage, like if something I don't know, you can
it does. There is a space in the brain that makes it not safe to go ahead. There's a beautiful, well, it's not a beautiful, it's a very hard book to read, depending on what you do or know. The Boy That Was Raised as a Dog. So there are things that happen to us that doesn't make it safe to move forward. It's so scary. It's like I'll get to the edge of the forest, but I'm not going in. And there we create this invisible wall.
Okay.
And we can't move forward without some assistance. Right. And that assistance goes back to the first chakra that says we are all one. And then you go back and you create a definition, or in therapy, we call it, you create a narrative that makes sense. And you start the process of exoneration and understanding, and then acceptance and self-forgiveness, because we are all one. So anything that anything that resonates as separateness is an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
So you begin to help someone to understand that this part of you is not really real. It's almost like you want to take the red pill or the blue pill.
Mm-hmm.
So are
And
you
it's
saying if someone is stuck in a particular chakra, they need therapy in order to move out of it or up from it?
no, not at all. I'm saying that therapy helps, and that's what therapy does.
Yeah, because normally, like, I think that the way that our lives go, we get these lessons automatically because that's the way it's set up. So just the process of going from being a kid into adolescence is one of those things that first you're born into this family structure, and then you got to find your own identity. So that means that I
Mhm.
start pulling away naturally at a certain
Okay.
Which
point.
doesn't feel natural.
It doesn't, but now
Mhm.
I need to have my own, I need to establish my own identity. And I can
Yes,
remember when I started saying, yeah, but this is what I got to do. And
yes.
Jesus would have said, I got to be about my
My
Father's
father's
business,
business.
right? So Jesus, it showed when he made that shift, like, why are you looking for me? I'm about my Father's business. I got something to do. And so for each of us, there is a shift that goes from being in that identity with the people around us, that feeling of oneness with them, to now I'm maturing. So I need to detach myself so I can find out who I
Mhm. And if you come from a family of origin that has a limited belief,
am.
then your belief is either going to be foreign to them and to you. So there's the missing of affirmation and things like that. That's why you follow the yellow brick road or follow the crumbs, or you have the hero's journey experience, because you're moving away from that and going in. But if you come from a place where you're always been told or made to be aware of the oneness that you are with everybody, and that, that whatever the information that you need to move on to the second chakra, if you're getting it, you go there. But if you don't have that information, if that's a missing piece, then people have what we just named as a stuckness,
Right.
um because there's a lack of awareness.
Eric Fromm said this thing in his book, on love. I forget what it's called, but he did a book on love. And he said that, sometimes what happens is we are naturally birthed, right? We're born into this world, and they cut that umbilical cord. But he says sometimes people can experience something in their life that's so dramatic that somebody goes back and they trying to find their mama's umbilical cord so they could start breathing through it again. I can't do this on my own. I need you now to do this work for me. And so it becomes a regression. And even though you can't really do
Go
that.
return into your mother's womb, as Jesus said to
Yeah.
Nicodemus.
Yeah. You can't really do that. But it's that idea, it's that idea
Yeah.
you want to.
Yes.
I don't want to
And so
stand alone too far.
right. And so to answer your question, Rosemary, is that I imagine that I stand in the seat of a doula and helping to people to give birth to a new idea so that they can move forward to the next chakra, wherever they're going, because people just sometimes get stuck and they want to go back. And so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Where
I
it
don't think,
feels safe.
yeah, yes,
Yes. Yes.
yes,
But
yes.
safety is a danger. The idea of not moving forward because you feel safe doesn't allow. I mean, that's like a little kid that is supposed to be walking, but they won't get up because they want to feel safe. And I think that that's
Uh,
why those kind of circuitries in a baby is kind of disconnected, because they need to feel that daring enough to get up and try again, to keep trying
uh-huh.
even though they fall.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the safety, trying to feel safe doesn't allow you to grow in the ways that you need to grow.
I don't know. What do you mean when you say that?
So
I don't know what you mean.
so if you are constantly trying to revert back,
Right.
so I don't mean to call it safety. When you're operating out of fear,
Yes.
right, which is
Yes.
that need to be safe, when you're operating out of fear, then that doesn't allow you to take the chances that you need, that build the courage that you need in order to stand on your own two big feet.
Yeah. But I think when Rosemary said feeling safe, it's like when I jumped out of the airplane, I felt like I could jump out of the airplane because I had Aaron on my back.
Okay.
So that was a sense of safety for me, so that I could jump, even though my parachute did not deploy, but I still landed and I'm here. Hallelujah. I got up to walk, so I had the courage to get up, and I had somebody saying, "Come on, you can do it, you can do it." So it was safe for me to make the jump, and it was safe for me to get up to walk because I knew my mom or grandma or somebody was there saying, "Come on, you can do this. Come on, come on, come on, you can do this." And I had this experience that said, if I tumble forward, there's these giant fingers that I can grab hold to and then keep moving myself forward. So I think that that's what safety, when Rosemary said a safety or a safe place, it's like, I'm not saying I won't be courageous to move forward, but there's something about that, knowing that there is a giant hand reaching out to, I can fall forward and grab it and it's going to move me forward and let me go eventually. And I got to walk by myself again.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, and I think that that's a good point. That's a good way of kind of bringing that around, because and so that's one of the things when we get stuck. We do need sometimes somebody to coax us along and say, hey, this is part of the process, and see, you got a boo-boo and it does heal, right?
Well, Sandra, to be very transparent and vulnerable, I feel like you were that for me. Because when I came home from the hero's journey, that part where I had to come home, I came home with a different scenario. So in the Joseph Campbell's story is he comes home and then he tries to, reveal all these wonderful things to his family. And I came home and I did what was considered, I love your language, a regression, because I came home divorced and kind of like Ruth, the story of Ruth. I came home divorced and whatever the narrative was, even though I had, degrees and things like that. But my life had drastically changed. And so I felt I had my own narratives. I had family of origin narratives that I was living in. But I was always on this journey, the same journey that I was when I was away for 30 years. When I came back, I was still on that journey, but I felt stuck because the people around me weren't on that journey. And so it felt like I had fallen and I was just hanging by myself. And then that Sunday, when I was looking for Agape in California and Agape came on my phone for Cleveland, I almost lost my mind. Like, this is a place? It's here? And then when I showed up there, I think 5 weeks in a row, all I did was cry every Sunday, just because of just being grateful for the life that was being affirmed in me again. So again, I rise. It was just coming. So I think that when I don't know. I don't want to say that because I just think that we got to pay attention and we have to be aware, because I know that this place was a place that was affirming for me and it helped me. So as I was doing this stumbling walk, oh my God, I gotta walk out of this, I gotta walk out of this. And this is scary because that's this is my family. I love them. I gotta move forward. What am I gonna do? I can't go back to Kansas. why am I here? And then, then Agape Renaissance showed up, and just, just the message. So I think that we all get what we need, but I believe that it's a part of the journey to have a moment of stuckness. And yeah.
Yeah, and that's that's one of the things that I talk about with depression, and
Yeah.
that we have those moments of gestation right before birth. And so that's good. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. But here's the thing. Gretchen just typed in and she says, "Oh my, Stephanie, that is exactly how I would explain my experience." And that's the very reason why I talk all the time about living our lives out loud, because a lot of times we think that the experience we go through is just our experience alone. And until we start to talk about the things that have impacted our life, people will think that they out there all by themselves. But the moment we start to share our truth or our story, then people can see, like, yeah, this does, it's like the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, yeah, you do get on the other side of this. You do find your way through. All of this stuff is working on purpose. And so that is really good stuff. Yay. Yay. And so, and that's one of the reasons why I'm excited about this work here, is because this work here helps people to kind of maneuver through whatever it is they're going through. So it's the wonderful, beautiful thing of combining the wisdom of the body with the wisdom of God, of energy, and how this energy comes in and flows through us and informs our walk and our experience. This is so freaking good.
It is good.
I love it. I love it.
It's good.
Get the book, I guess.
It will help you to remember.
And it actually acts like a roadmap for each of us, right?
Oh, yes.
So if all of a sudden you realize that your body is somewhat like a compass, like, oh, you mean to tell me that like my knees will ache when, did you go to yoga yesterday, Stephanie?
Oh, yes.
Tell me about that.
Oh, yes. So I was telling all my business today. That's what happens when you get one. You just like, I ain't got no business, right?
Right.
So,
right.
So I went to yoga, and I did this pose. I can't remember the name of it, but it's for your abs, and you put your legs straight out like this and your arms straight out like this, like complete surrender, legs up, sitting on your sit bone, and your core, the sacral area of your life is vibrating like this, just vibrating. And my mantra is, I am sitting in my power. I am sitting in my power. And so you hold this pose, and then you release it and you hold it again. And so I have meditation tears. So when I meditate and tears come, my meditation tears, they feel like they're this round as they come forth. They're so huge to me. They're big, they stay, and then they fall forward or to the side, because usually I'm laying back like this, and they just come. They're big. They're not like my regular tears. They're just
crocodile tears.
Oh my God, they're huge in my imagination. And so after I finished that mantra of I'm sitting in my power, and did that core work, and then I laid back into what is called a bridge. And all of a sudden, just the tears, the big meditations that I am here, they were so big. Oh, it was so nice. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And then you did the message on Bartholomew and the wiping of the eyes and the blindness, and it was just so good. Yesterday was good all the way from
dear.
11:30 to 5 o'clock. I was just, yeah, so I did go. And so thank you for the encouragement. And I went without, I had did some running around for my parents. And so I went to yoga without my yoga t-shirt. So I'm working out in a workout shirt. So
Yeah.
I'm sweating, tears are coming down all on my mat, sweat is falling on my mat because I got on too many clothes, for the event. But I did it anyway. And it, whoo, just
Yeah.
blessed my socks off. Yeah.
Yay, yay,
Yeah.
yay. That is wonderful. Yeah, Rosemary, she was almost not ready to go.
Mm-mm. Mm.
Right,
I had so much to do, I imagined, but
right,
I got it all in.
right. And that's what
Well,
sometimes
I'm going to check my library right now and see if I have that book.
okay,
It might be there.
okay, okay. Yeah, take your time. Um, but so all of this is about us finding our truth. Let me share my screen for just a minute because um I want to talk a little bit more about these chakras.
Oh,
Let's
that's a nice one. Oh, I love that.
yeah. And okay, so that looks fine on the screen, huh? Because I can't really see
Uh-huh.
what it looks
Mm-hmm.
like. Okay. So down here where we talk about this root chakra, so I was talking about how this second chakra is normally depicted when it really should be down
Down lower. Mm-hmm.
lower, a little
Mm-hmm.
lower, but for the purposes that we're going to talk about, we're going to really start to break these things down. It says down here, basic truth or
Trust.
basic trust.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so this is the root chakra, and this will probably be what we will be dealing with for the next day or two. Um, well, I'll say the next day or two because we're not quite into it yet. But then what we do is, and I'll share this again as we move through this. So the sacral chakra, which they say sexuality and creativity, is basically your sex organs, but here is depicted like it should be just below your navel, and from and so these are up higher. I guess they're up higher than what I would like them to be. If I was like trying to draw a anatomically correct image of the way that the chakras go, because they resonate in these different ways. And these colors that they have on here really kind of correspond, except for this crown chakra. I don't know that color is that the right color? I don't know that that's
Supposed to be purple, like a
okay.
royal purple or mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Um, so then that I guess that fuchsia does it okay.
Mm-hmm. It
But
looks purple on my end.
oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't look purple here. Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool.
it can pass as purple. I mean, maybe not the royal deep, like not this, but this looks blue on screen and it's dark purple. So, but it looks purple for me.
Okay. So yeah, so this is the way that it's going to go. And so we'll kind of refer back to this as we continue to go through these chakras, because I'm trying to find depictions or ways to share this so that everybody could see it. Oh, wait a minute, before I totally stop that, let me say that okay, no, that's a different image, isn't it? Let's see. Okay, so these bottom three, the solar plex, the sacral, and the root chakra, these bottom three have to do with what we would call the physical world or the external world. And all of these top ones here, these top 4, have to do with the internal,
Mhm.
internal, the psychological, all of that stuff are these top 4. Okay, so now we can move on. I can
Okay.
close that out. So, oh, that's interesting. I have to work on how I do my share screen. So,
Make sure you write a tutorial because I don't know how to do it either.
okay. Well, and yeah, and you don't have over there until, if you want to share your screen, let me know and I'll have to grant you access to share.
Okay.
I think that's the way it works. I think I
I
can
have
set
nothing to share, so we're
parameters
good.
yeah, to let anybody share. But so what we're doing is we're talking about how to move through this natural process of maturation, spiritual maturation. And so, like I was saying, sometimes people get stuck in 1 or 2 for whatever reason that is, and then to figure out, okay, how do we help? Like Stephanie was saying, giving you those giant hands, how do we help people move out of the space that they may be stuck in into where it is that they need to go through? And so this is not something that you have to have professional help with, but if there is so much resistance that you have that's built up
Yes.
over the years, sometimes you need somebody to help you unpack that resistance to
It
what's
makes
natural.
sense.
Yeah. And I'm aware that when by the time I meet somebody, even as a Christian therapist in the church, by the time somebody comes to me, they have wrestled and done so much to try to break free. And there's just this like, what am I missing? What am I missing? It could come from the aha could come from a conversation like such as this,
Mm-hmm.
especially now that they're being spoken. But by the time people come to therapy, it's a lot of unpacking and then repacking and grabbing new suitcases, or it's just like kind of sound like times when we eat a lot of junk food. After a while, you just got to go and just like throw away the junk food and add in all the nutrients. And sometimes people are like, I don't want to give up my junk food. I don't want to give up my belief system. I don't want to give that up. And so they go into rehab.
Right. And what's really interesting is sometimes, like, the fear that people have of being different is so strong that
Uh,
they keep going back and reverting back to what was.
well, yeah. Doesn't that make sense? I mean, something is said to be so right that we imagine that we could go into all the countries of the world and teach them this and save them because your belief is not right. So when you now buy into that and hold fast to that as a part of your family of origin, to go back to something else, or if you don't have anything else to go back to, then you kind of, as Alan Watts says, you kind of dangling out here in that space of how do I just let go and fall and see, fly, jump out the plane. How do I let go of this? That's such a space of anxiety, and that's where I meet people with depression and anxiety, because it's that hanging place, that hang time,
right
that space of needing to let go and just and be open to it. But we have been told that this is the right way, and if anyone thinks different than that, that they are the thinking is inappropriate, it's not right, is that we've demonized another idea. Sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to go and be a lawyer, or you want to be a social worker or a therapist, and somebody says, well, I don't know what you want to do that for, they don't make no money, you should be a lawyer, you got so much argument.
Yeah.
If that's not the call that's on my life, what do you do?
Right. So So, here's the interesting thing though. When I was a kid, I used to have people who would do this thing on me all the time. Well, I'm not going to be your friend no more. I don't know, but the funny thing about that is even as adults, for some reason that works on some people. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. If you're not going to do this the way that I want you to do it, we try to withdraw, withhold, and use that in order as a way to manipulate other people.
It comes out that way, but if we don't take things personal, the reality is that person is self-protecting. They're in a giant ouch. And the best way to protect themselves is to withdraw.
Okay. And so you're saying that if I'm taking it personal, it's not about me, it's actually about them.
Yes.
Right? So yes. If he tells me I'm not going to talk to you no more, it's because he's in a giant ouch, not trying to punish me, but rather trying to protect.
Yes. And when we find out that it creates it, when it becomes manipulation is when we find out when I self-protect, this person comes near me, then, I'll just keep being there, and you never heal. You never get healing because you're always withdrawing to bring people in, but then you never make it safe for people to be who they are. So then you just keep, we call that the dance. And so, no, it's a self-protection mode. So when people are self-protecting, you can say to yourself, even, I'm self-protecting. This is what I'm doing. This don't feel good. I gotta figure out what that is. Somebody hit something. I need to figure that out. And people don't go that far in their reactivity, but that's what that is. It's not personal. It's self-protection.
Oh, that's that don't look away thing, huh?
Yeah.
Stay with it in order to see that.
Yeah.
Oh, and so how does that translate when people have, since we got the therapist here, how does it translate when people have general phobias and they withdraw from stuff? Is that the same type of scenario?
It's the same self-protection. Yeah. It's just I'm protecting myself, and however you learn to do that to survive, that's the reaction. It's like pulling your hand away from a hot stove. Oh, nope, not doing that. Oh, I'm starting to feel ooey gooey. Let me deactivate. Armor up.
Oh, okay. Okay. So then there is work to be done here.
And that's how God sees us. If there's a seeing of a God that is watching, it's not like, oh, you're so pitiful or you're just a manipulator. It's more like, this part of all that is closing off, just like in the ocean when you swim past something that is whatever those things are, they just instantly go up under.
Yeah.
We've just been made to do that. So it's like, we can't take it personal, but
like a turtle would go
within a shell. Yeah. Doesn't make it a bad turtle. It's just
right. Or those little bugs outside that automatically turn into they just
what are those potato bugs or whatever those things are called?
Roly-polies.
The roly-polies. Yeah, they do.
But the moment you touch them, it's like they just kind of roll up into that little armored ball, and it's like, what, dude? Come here, I'm gonna dissect you and see why you're
why you got so many legs.
So that is okay. So there. All right, so then let's deal with just for the little time that we have. So let's kind of talk about this level 1 of the chakras, right? Mm-hmm. And so it says here, and I don't know, you probably read this part earlier, But level 1 is that first root chakra.
Mhm.
And that is the merging of the first or tribal chakra,
Mhm.
the sacrament of baptism,
Mhm.
and the sephira of Shekinah.
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 Mhm.
Sounds like, okay, Shekinah. Thank you. All
Mhm.
right. So the power created by 3 archetypal forces transmits into our energy and biological system the sacred truth that all is one.
Yes.
You know, so let me just read this because I want to talk about this. All is, you know, there was a guy who last night, let me, I was in transit yesterday, and I was talking to, while I was going from one house to another, I was just doing visitations yesterday, but still visiting with my cousin, and so in transit, I talked to my brother, and he's with his fraternity brothers. And he said, he was telling me who was there. They're having some kind of celebration. I don't know if it's like,
Anniversary or something.
yeah, something like that. But I think it's a bigger one than just when he crossed. I think it's a bigger anniversary, but I'm not exactly sure what it was. But they're all gathering. And he was saying to me, he was telling me who was there. And people came in from different places around the country. And so I hung up the phone from him, and then the phone rang back immediately. But this time, even though it was my brother's phone, it was somebody else on the phone. And it was a guy who was there when I was in college. And he started saying, he was like, he says, he goes through all of this conversation, talking junk. And then he says, I never told you about how much you taught me through college, and how much you impacted my life. And so he was saying, he said, so I wanted to make sure I said thank you. And it was one of those things that happened because one of the things that I did when I was in college was I went overseas in my junior year. I went overseas to go to school in Italy. And in Italy, I saw very different how people showed up in the world and how they protested and how they pushed back on their government. And even more so, to a greater degree than this democracy that we lived in. So when I came back on a mission to live in that kind of space, right?
Mm.
Like if we're not happy, we should let other people know that we're not happy, right? It shouldn't be that we are suffering in silence. And
Mm.
so I came back with a certain permission to show up in a different way. And so it was really interesting because he's not the first person that has talked about how impactful those years were, not just for me, but for them. And in seeing that sort of boldness or that level of engagement. And so when when we talk about enliven people or
Mhm.
hurt people, it is us living in our truth that allows other people to also live in their truth.
Mhm.
Because just like we say, somebody is always watching you, like a kid is always watching an adult, somebody is always watching us. And to the level that we step up, and to the level that we express this God life, right? That's what Jesus provided for us, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Let me demonstrate what it is that I want you to see. And not and so what people do is they get caught up in the role that the Pharisees played over there.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I don't know if Jesus was, if that, this is me, the intention was to show you, but the intention was just to be, kind of how I started my conversation. I cannot be until I can just be me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so he stood out, I'm going to say, because he decided to be himself, didn't fall in line. And so therefore the illumination of that differentness, which is really sameness, but you can't see yourself yet, just stood out. It made it bigger. And it was, I almost like, kind of what you're doing, and a lot of people who do, even when I was, even what I do as a therapist, you almost can't help yourself but to teach, even when you're not intending to teach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, especially when you're not intending to teach, right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
really what I felt like, and the funny thing is I used to, of course, walk a lot. And one of the things that I always said to myself is that, I don't always feel like my legs are up under me, but what I do know is that I fall forward and not backwards. And so sometimes when you're running, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but you feel like you're stumbling, but you're stumbling forward. And sometimes your legs catch up with the top of your body, and then all of a sudden you feel like you're upright again.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
so
that's
what
good.
People see is me falling forward, but still with the same idea that we're moving,
Mm-hmm.
And so when we talk about Jesus and what Jesus was doing, even if and this is sometimes what I think the problem that religion has is that religion wants to make it seem like you can't be like Jesus because Jesus was the Immaculate Conception, or Jesus was the only begotten Son, or we make it seem like none of the stuff that Jesus was doing was for you. You got to be one of the people in them. And Jesus was saying, no. He was out there teaching these people. And he was like saying, how do you see what I'm doing here and not get it, that you can do it? Where is your faith? You just saw that we fed the masses, and then you still doubt?
Yeah, I think that he probably marveled at the fact that he imagined that what was in him was in all of us from his human side. And it's kind of like, it's kind of like, well, how am I knowing this? I know this. I'm aware of this. Like, let it come up. Let it come up. Let it come out. Let it do it what it do inside of you. And don't worry about those Pharisees. It's scary because they're suppressing, but you don't have to let it suppress because it's in all of us. And that's the translation that I get from those messages, that is in me too.
Yes, absolutely. And so for this, when it says all is one, I am, that's one of the spaces that we have to dwell in, is in this concept that if it has ever been done, then I know that it's possible.
Yes.
And so if any of this has ever been possible for anybody, it's possible for me too.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Yes.
true.
Yes. Yes.
So I went through a phase one time. I don't even know why I was in this phase, but I remember being terrified of everything. I was riding down the street and I don't know, I was just so I'm gonna tell you out of circumstances. I was dating a guy who was about my height, but soaking wet, he was probably 140 pounds. So he was a very small guy. And for some reason, I remember thinking to myself, everybody out here could beat him up. I could probably beat him up, right? And so I never felt protected. I felt unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would want him to drive down back streets. Because
Oh my gosh.
I didn't want him to get in any kind of altercation, because I was thinking to myself, like, man, I might have to protect him. I was just like thinking to myself, like, this little guy. And so I got this thing where I was going through some serious fear stuff. And like I have had many times happen to me, is I have one of those moments like the prodigal son had. I come to myself and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, whose voice is this I'm hearing? Why am I afraid? And then when so sometimes it's like, why am I afraid? Or why am I in judgment? Or why am I at this point? I actually have to stop and really assess the situation so that I can understand why I'm having, and so for me, I do one of those things, like the moment I realize that this has got to be something wrong, because if I'm in fear, it's not Sandra. So why am I here? So then I start digging, like, okay, let me really drill down on this and figure out why I'm here. I think that's one of the good things about the way I've lived my life is that when I feel that, even when I have butterflies in my stomach, what I do is I stop and I ask myself, okay, where are these butterflies coming from? What's going on that I should feel this kind of way?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is something that, any of us can do with our stuff. When we're not feeling ourselves, what is it that's happening that that's making us feel this level? And then to ask ourselves, is this true?
Is it true?
My truth, right?
Is it true?
Yeah. Am I susceptible in this moment? Am I, as many times as I drive down this street, what's different about me driving down the street with this little guy than when I'm driving down the street by myself? Right?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'm gonna use Rosemary. I'm gonna use Rosemary since she's on this call. I'm sorry, Rosemary, but I'm about to use you.
Okay.
Rosemary was married to a man who never found a fight that he wasn't willing to enter. And she would often tell about how if the police stopped him, she would have to put her hand on him, push him into, okay, this is not a fight. This is not a fight. You are safe. They are you, right?
Yes.
Because she knew that he was always ready to put his dukes up.
That's good. Yeah.
So if you are around somebody that like my little dog here, I know that little dog, if she sees a bigger dog, she doesn't have the sense in her head to stop. She doesn't have the sense in her head to say, I can't win this one. And so what we have a tendency to do is overcompensate for situations like that. So for me, that means, oh, I got to do that. I got to take this guy in a different direction. Rosemary knew she could redirect, right? That's what you were doing, right, Rosemary?
I knew I had to protect him from himself because
Yes.
he was really indignant that he was stopped for no reason.
Mhm.
And it was a white man.
Mhm.
Okay. And he had this thing,
Mhm.
having grown up in the South,
Mhm.
about white folk
Mhm.
and white people feeling that they could take advantage of someone black.
Mhm.
And that was the situation when he was stopped at one time by the police officer. It's like, why are you stopping me? There's no reason why you should. And this is who I am, and I should not be stopped. Okay. And you can't explain to me why you stopped me. Well, this guy is a police officer. He has a
You muted yourself.
and
Yeah,
nobody will say anything about it. Okay.
Okay.
And so this is what one has to think about in those situations,
yeah,
that you can't win this fight, as you
Yeah,
say.
and that becomes a narrative.
yeah,
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It's not a fight you can win, so don't go into it.
right,
Don't make it a fight.
Yeah.
right, right. And so that becomes one of those things for me, was that I felt like I needed to protect this guy. And so I was trying to avoid any kind of altercations, which put me at a place where I then started manifesting
Fear.
fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Keep me safe. That's what I was trying to say to him. Keep me safe, because I know that whatever is, whatever is about to jump off, or even, I mean, there was nothing about to jump off. It was just me saying, you know, just like, sometimes when and I hate to use my dog as an example in this, but sometimes, like, I go into an apartment building and I have the dog with me, and I don't know who's about to step off of the elevator. So if I see the elevator coming, I pick her up,
Mm-hmm.
because if she is on her feet and there's a dog that comes out, she is going to lunge. She's about to pounce, because I don't even get why that is. It's a little dog complex. She's ready to fight. So I pick her up. So it's the anticipation, even though I don't have evidence that says there's going to be a dog coming on that elevator.
Mm-hmm.
I want to avoid the ugly situation that's about to come up. And so I pick her up. So sometimes we create our own fear in our minds. Sometimes it's based on past performance, but we create this level of fear, and then sometimes we don't recognize that I created this level of fear. I don't have to walk in it
Yeah.
all the time.
Yes.
And
Fear, what just came to me is that fear keeps us in the fold.
What do you mean?
It keeps us in the normal. It keeps us in the family. If that's where we come from, we like Jesus stepped outside of the fold.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we have fear, it keeps us safe in our family of origin. It keeps us safe.
So that regression back into the clan.
Yeah.
Right. So you
And
guys.
talking about energy, that energy is the energy, that's the level of energy, like our exercise, like yoga, like to the level of you can stay in your pose, but they tell you that if you can take the pose out a little further past the point where you want to say, this is it, I'm giving up, that's the faith part, that's the courageous part. Like, I'm going to stay in this just a little bit further. But when we stand back and want to call it fear, we stand in the fold, we stay in the clan, because that's the level of the vibratory energy in which we know we're comfortable in that energy space. That, yeah, that's all I got for that. Yeah, we're comfortable in that.
Well, I don't necessarily think that when you pick up your dog in anticipation that maybe there's a dog on the elevator is really fear, so much as it is that you know your dog. You know your dog, and you are protective
Yeah, of
of your
other
dog.
people or the other situations.
Right. I don't know that that's the same as the situation with the guy that you were dating. I
Well,
mean, I think it's very appropriate if
uh-huh.
you know your dog, and you know if your dog comes face to face with another dog,
Mm-hmm.
there's something that's going to jump off, that you prevent that from happening by picking the dog up.
Well, it feels the same as fear because I get that feeling in my stomach. I get that anticipation
Okay.
of what might go wrong in my stomach. So
Okay.
it
Okay.
may seem as though, yeah, it may not be, it may just be, what is it, adrenaline? Because
Mm-hmm.
because when that bell rings, that the door is about to open, I'm backing up and springing into action because it's happened to me before. It's
Right.
before, and I don't want to have to be the one that is, who knows if the other person has their leash tight, who knows
Right.
all of that stuff. So I pick mines up.
Right.
Just
Right. I think that's very reasonable.
yeah.
I do.
That
Um,
adrenaline, which maybe I read as fear, is just like on point. I love it when I get there and the elevator is not in motion. But when
Mm-hmm.
it's in motion and it looks, I can see it counting down. It's coming down 3, 2. It's about to open. I'm grabbing that dog because I know there's somebody on there.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. That's just how it works. All right, you
Well,
guys, we are.
with the dog, you're gonna keep the dog. Okay, you're gonna keep the dog. With the guy, you're gonna get rid of that guy,
Yeah,
because it's not a relationship that is worth being involved in when you have that kind
right,
of
right.
reaction to
Yeah, it
being
was
with them.
it was not a sustainable relationship.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
yes, yes, I did. I got out of that. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, it is time for
Thank
us
you.
to exit here. I appreciate everybody being here. Rosemary, thank you for
Thank
joining.
you.
Oh,
Yes.
my pleasure
Yay,
indeed.
yay, that is so wonderful. Yes, my agape family. Thank you. So we will be here tomorrow, same time, and tomorrow we are going to really get down, delve down into this, the the section. We're on page 80. We're talking about external power, so we'll be diving into this level 1, and then moving on to the level 2 and talking about the partnership chakra. If you, like I said, if you guys have anything that you want us to drill down on, or any ideas that you want us to explore, especially as we go through these, let us know so that we can make sure that we try to shine some light on those things. I thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Ah, what a
For
wonderful,
appreciating.
wonderful. Yeah.
Appreciate it like so
Yeah.
much.
Yes, yes. All right, you guys. So we are going to let you go. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. the power of
Oh, God
God
protects
touch
us.
you. The
Mhm.
presence of
Presence of
God
God watches
watches over
over
you wherever
wherever
you
we
are.
are.
God
God is,
and
and
all
all is well.
Yes.
blessings.
Thank you.
All
Have
right.
a blessed day.
You
You
too.
too. Enjoy.
All right. Bye. Have a wonderful